Welcome back, everyone. We have with us today Ryan, Faust, and Troy Mihalek from CryptoVice.com. Please welcome them.
It's Mihalek, like Vitalik. Okay. Welcome, guys. Thank you very much for being here today. I'm sure there's a lot more interesting stuff happening in that room. Maybe you guys didn't have chairs, but I'm glad you're here. We're gonna give your brain a little bit of a rest. We're gonna have some fun today. We're gonna talk about the exciting world of physical cryptocurrencies. Quick show of hands, guys. Does anybody have physical cryptocurrency? Anybody ever seen one, owned one? Nobody? Let's get in the back. All right, good. So if you would have asked me 2 years ago if we would be talking to a room full of people about physical cryptocurrency, I would have said you're a weirdo. But here we are. So first thing we're going to do today, Troy's going to give us a little history on physical cryptocurrencies. Where did they come from? What was the first one? We'll talk about some other cold storage wallets out there. More of the collectible ones. He'll do a deep dive on the very first physical cryptocurrency. I'll do a deep dive on the second one. And then we'll go through, we'll show you guys some examples, and we'll give you a good idea of what these coins are actually worth if you were to come across one at a yard sale or something like that. Take it away.
Thank you, Ryan. So before we get started, I just wanted to let you know we are going to give away this encyclopedia that talks about all about physical Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. It's a $150 value. It's yours. The only thing, we don't have a fishbowl, so all you got to do is sign up for our newsletter to be in the drawing. At the end of this talk in 25 minutes, we will pick the winner on a random basis. So if you text 22828, in fact, I even have a slide that, so you can see everything we're talking about. 22828, text CryptoVice. It's going to ask you for your email. That's all you need to do. We'll get an email notifying that you've registered, and that's how we'll give this book away. So I'll have this up again at the end of the talk. So 22828, text CryptoVice. So what is physical crypto? The history of physical cryptocurrency, this guy named Michael Caldwell in 2011 was trying to figure out how to explain what cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is. So people would come up to him and say, what is Bitcoin? And he was a programmer, and he would say, well, you know, it's a decentralized, unregulated cryptocurrency based on an algorithm, and people would stare at him like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even, I'm lost. So what he wanted to do is say, this is Bitcoin right here. This is a physical Bitcoin. It has Bitcoin on it. You can have it as an exchange of currency. You can hold it as a private wallet, a cold storage, if you will, of your Bitcoin, and you can exchange it just like money. People wanted to, in 2011, they wanted to see it, touch it, smell it, hold it, and this was his solution to that. So because it wasn't fully embraced, and frankly it's not fully embraced now either, but back in 2011 it's even less embraced or even known about, he thought about this opportunity to create a solution. And this was a solution that he was doing only out of the goodness of his heart. It wasn't a profitable venture. He wasn't looking to make money. He was really just using it as an educational platform to get cryptocurrency out there and in the hands, legitimately in the hands of other people. He is widely credited as being the godfather of physical cryptocurrency. He's inspired tons of additional cryptocurrency beyond the Casasius that we'll talk about in a minute. And as you can see on the right side of the screen, those are some of the other cryptocurrencies that came about as a result of his venture into this unknown world. Another thing to consider too is that he had this programming background and he was very much into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So he also understood the fact that security was a major issue, trust was a huge issue, privacy, etc. So he actually was the inventor of the BIP38, which is the Bitcoin Improvement Protocol. And being an inventor, there's many, many, many protocols of Bitcoin now. That's where Bitcoin Cash came out of and all these other forks. But 38 was one of the ones in the beginning back in 2011 that he created to add an extra layer of privacy so that when I exchange my physical Bitcoin to you, you hold the private key under the hologram and it's completely secure and safe. Other coins kind of took, they kind of followed suit, if you will, and they also employed that BIP protocol so that it is completely safe. Coins like Lana, which Ryan will talk about. There are, however, coins that didn't, and they were more fraudulent coins or sketchy coins. The last thing to think about when you're considering physical Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is that there are multiple series in any given coin. So this coin is a microsol, and this is a Series 2 microsol, or Series 1, excuse me. And there's another microsol that's completely silver. I have it in my bag, and I can show you after. That's the Series 1. So there was multiple series, there was multiple variations of each coin, and these coins not only had serial numbers and variations, but because of those variations had different rarity factors. 1 of 20, 1 of 1,000, 1 of 10,000. So that's the high-level overview of physical crypto. Yeah. I did. So you asked me what is Bitcoin. I can tell you this is a Bitcoin. Well, this is actually not a full Bitcoin. So that's the other thing I'm going to talk about. Yeah, I didn't want to bring the 1,000 Bitcoin coin because that's worth $10 million now. So, I didn't want to get mugged in the parking lot. So, as I mentioned, physical Bitcoin was created by Michael Caldwell. He called it Casasious. Casasious is actually an acronym for call a spade a spade. And over 90,000 Bitcoin are loaded onto physical Bitcoins like this. So if you consider the fact that there's 16 million or so in circular, maybe 14 million in circulation, 90,000, maybe an extra 10,000 in other coins are on physical Bitcoins themselves. Various denominations. So to your point, he started out with one Bitcoin, one BTC, and that's what you saw at the start of the screen. One BTC became more and more valuable as Bitcoin increased in value over the years. In 2011, it was worth $50. In 2013, it all of a sudden shot up to 250, to 500, to 1,000. And he's thinking, okay, well, I need to actually break this down a little bit so it's a little more tradable. So he introduced the 0.1, the 0.5. There's also the larger denominations as well. The largest that he created was 1,000 Bitcoin. And Ryan will mention this too, but this essentially right now is the most valuable coin, Bitcoin being at around $10,000 a piece. This 1,000 Bitcoin coin is worth $10 million. So when the flowing hair dollar, for numismatics out there, the flowing hair dollar was sold for, I think it was $10 million in 2012 at an auction. And this Bitcoin, this 1,000 Bitcoin coin is now worth more than that. The other thing is that the precious metals were introduced. Originally in 2011, it started with brass. As he kind of evolved his hobby and more interest came about, he also introduced more variations of the coin. So he has pure silver. There's also pure gold. There's silver and gold combinations. So different types of metals were introduced along with those different series and the rarity, et cetera.
Just before you go on, the biggest thing with everybody kind of being new to physical cryptocurrency, burn that name into your head, Casasious, right? It's kind of a hard one to remember, but if you ever come across a Casasious coin, extremely valuable, very possible to find. When we started this 2 years ago, they were all over eBay. You can find them anywhere you want. You can go to Reddit, guys would be selling them. You would be very, very, very hard pressed to go on there and find one for sale that's not completely outrageous. Go ahead. It's right there.
Exactly that.
Exactly like that. There's
At the top.
yeah. And that's in the C together that a lot of people use.
The other thing that's, go ahead. Okay, the other thing that's interesting about these coins is that you can see the intricacy of them. So when you talk, I'm going to use this laser. When you talk about it went from very basic to this middle one. This is the 2011 that he first created. Very basic brass token. It evolved to something like this, where it's gold and silver, 1 ounce of pure silver, and it has binary code etched on the outside of the coin. And that binary code actually says, an idea too big to fail. So additionally down here, his 25 coin has binary code that says, you asked for change, I gave you coins. So it's really interesting. These are awesome coins. There's a lot of history to them. And the last thing I'll mention is when you talk about coins like these are not Casasious coins, but they are inspired by Casasious. So you have the microsol here, which is the 0.05. You have Litecoin that he'll talk about in a minute. And you have all sorts of other variations that really came out of Casasious and Michael Caldwell.
Yeah, so thanks, Troy. So Lialana, you guys want to think of Casasious as gold, right? Casasious is Bitcoin. It was the first one. It's the most valuable one. The second physical cryptocurrency to the market was Lialana. Leolana was a big, he believed in Cassatius, he liked him. It wasn't really a rivalry, it was more of a friendly competition. So a lot of the coins, like Troy mentioned, they're very, very similar. These two coins here look almost identical to some coins that Cassatius has out there. Leolana, a lot of people on Reddit know him as Smoothie. He's from Hawaii, so a lot of the designs will have some kind of a Hawaiian inset. A couple other things to note. So Cassatius only produced Bitcoin physical cryptocurrencies. Leolana expanded the offering. So there's Bitcoins out there, different denominations. He has a 1, a half, a 0.25, a 0.1. We have a couple of those up here for you to take a look at if you'd like. But he also expanded into Litecoin. So Litecoin was really his first. That's what Leolana is most well known for. Here's a Litecoin right here. This is a single Litecoin. You peel the security hologram on the back. There's a private key to access the one Litecoin. He also had some others, denomination of 5 Litecoin, 10 Litecoin, 25 Litecoin. And the Leolana 25 Litecoin is actually one of the most highly collectible physical cryptocurrencies out there. And just if you guys are interested in this stuff, literally the only resource out there is this Encyclopedia of Physical Bitcoins. We didn't produce this or anything. We're friends with the author. But if you want information on physical cryptocurrency, this is the source to get it. If you want to know how many of a particular coin, how many are in circulation, how many have been redeemed, it's all in the encyclopedia. Some of the more rare coins, and I don't know how we're doing on time, cut me off if we need to, but the Monero coins for Leolana. So you ever come across an XMR coin? Same deal. Monero is actually loaded onto the coin, and those are actually more rare than the Bitcoin or the Leolana. One other thing I wanted to mention, if we can go back for just a second. So this was actually kind of cool. So it's not cool. This is just what happened, but it changed his business, I think, for the better. So when they first started doing this, right, nobody knew what Bitcoin was. It was just kind of the wild, wild west. These guys are putting cryptocurrency on coins. People are paying. There's some discrepancy on whether or not that's a money transmitting business. So eventually, I believe it was 2013, 2014, somewhere in that area, the federal government stepped in, said, hey, you're not allowed to do this anymore. If you want to do this, you have to go through some licensing. It's going to cost a bunch of money. So Cassatius actually stepped away from the market and said, I'm no longer going to do this. I can't make any money doing it. Leolana continued. So he found a little loophole. And on a lot of his coins, you'll actually notice that it'll say buyer funded on the hologram. You can't see it there. But his loophole was because the Fed said you can no longer have somebody pay you money and then put cryptocurrency on that coin and ship it to him. What he actually did is he would reach out on behalf of the person buying the coin. He would provide them the public address, and then those people would deposit their own cryptocurrency on the coin. So it's his way of kind of getting around it. So some of those coins are even more rare than the ones that he loaded himself. Good. Some of the other coins to take a look at, some of the bigger ones, like we said, there are literally thousands out there. This is a Titan Bitcoin, so it comes in copper, silver, gold. I believe the only denomination, I could be wrong, but I believe it only comes in one Bitcoin. This is a microsol like Troy mentioned earlier. This is a cryptolator. We have one of these up here for you to take a look at. A nasty mining pool. This was back in the day. Some early guys that were mining Bitcoin came out with their own coin. And actually, when you peel the hologram, I believe it gives you a certain percentage of what they claimed back in the day. This is a denarium coin. This is called a Satori poker chip. So this is actually the most affordable physical cryptocurrency that you're going to find. You can find those on eBay for about $100, $150. One thing to note on all of these physical cryptos, and I'll touch on it on the next slide, but all the forks are contained as well. So if an early coin came out, one of his original with Bitcoin, every subsequent fork that has occurred, you also have that equal amount of the new whatever Bitcoin diamond or whatever that is. It's also on the coin for you to redeem. Over here on the right, just some more of the cold storage collectible devices. This is the Cassatius gold bar that he produced. There's no physical cryptocurrency contained on this coin, but it's just an homage to Mount Gox. Don't get goxed. And then down here, this is one of my favorites. It's called Kialara. So Kialara produces physical cold storage devices, and this one actually has a little piece of a meteorite in it. I think, the whole going to the moon thing. So
one thing to also keep in mind is that these denominations only mean what they currently are loaded with. But if you own them, it's essentially a cold storage wallet. You can put as much as you want on that coin because you have access to the hologram, to the private key behind the hologram. So it's up to you if you want to buy the coin, peel the hologram, and then load as much. Actually, you don't even need to do that. You can just use the public key to load as much as you want. Once hologram off and access the private key. The point is that you can put 100,000 Bitcoin on a 0.5 microsol.
That's the other thing. Before you buy a coin, you always want to verify that the crypto is actually on the coin. So I believe there's 7 or 8 letters. They call them first bits on those coins. You can go to a first bit checker and you can verify the actual deposit amount. Okay, so what are these coins worth, right? Like, is this just fun? This is a little numismatic kind of thing to play around with? Go ahead and put everything up there, Troy. It's fine. These are some prices earlier in the year when we were putting this presentation together. These are the coins. All of these sale prices here in red came from eBay. So this is the total cost that they sold for on eBay. This coin up here, this one did not sell on eBay, but I want to touch on it. Troy was mentioning earlier that the 1,000 gold Cassatius coin with 1,000 Bitcoins on it, when that coin was sold in 2012, it sold for $1 million, okay? In today's value, if you take those 1,000 Bitcoins and add in the premium that he paid for the coin, that is the most expensive coin that has ever been valued in the history of the world. So it's kind of a weird thing to think about, right? Coin collecting's been going on for hundreds of years, maybe even thousands of years. You hear about coin auctions all the time. The most expensive coin in the world has Bitcoin on it. That's amazing. And this is his Reddit post from back in 2011. If you wanted to buy this coin with the Bitcoin included, with the 1 ounce of gold, you could expect to pay about $5,000 bucks. I didn't get in on that.
People are looking for the sunken treasures at the bottom of the ocean, but you never know. In your sock drawer,
Yeah, that's where it's at, right?
you don't even need to look that far.
I didn't touch on this, but right side of the screen here, these are the different forks. Obviously, these prices are not up to date. It's about a week old. But these are a few of the different forks that are contained on any of these Bitcoin physical cryptocurrencies. Go ahead.
Just a quick question. We're all into the crypto virtual world. I'm interested by that very much. But did you guys, in your field, analyze the need of human beings to hold the current value of what they have in their hands? It makes no sense to me. I still can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah, we did no analysis or anything like that.
In the ether,
Yeah.
still you need to hold some kind of form of value.
That's why the guy created it. So that's kind of the story behind it. He was fed up with people saying, "Oh, it's Bitcoin. I can't hold it. It's not real." Hey, here you go, man. Here's your Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who took the Bitcoin is rich.
Yeah, exactly. Any other questions? If you ever come across a coin, you're not sure about it, reach out to us at CryptoVice. It's cryptovice@gmail. Send us a message. We'd be happy to help you guys out. We broker a lot of coins on the website too, so if you're interested in one, we can help you acquire it. Anything else?
These are the resources that you can look at. So Google obviously has a plethora of sources. CoinDesk is good. If you want to buy these cryptocurrency physical coins, you can go on eBay and do that. It is a little bit more risky on eBay, but that's probably the best opportunity for you to get them. However, they're less and less as we go on. Wikipedia is another great resource. And then he mentioned verifying the coin funds. Those are the two most common websites to verify the coin funds. The last thing is that this encyclopedia, so we're going to give this copy away, but we're also able to provide 20% off discount with this this link. So like you said, we talk with Elias on a regular basis actually, and Elias was willing to provide a nice discount, 20% off, just for this conference. So we're on Twitter as well, and YouTube and Instagram. If you want to follow us on Twitter, I'm going to send out that link that I mentioned with the discount probably the next couple of hours, so you can follow us on Twitter and get that link there, or you can just go to coinfirm.org/supercon.
And we give out a lot of those Satori Bitcoins too. They're loaded with 0.001 Bitcoin, so kind of a fun little thing.
Those are good gifts and stuff like that. So again, this is the newsletter. If you want to text CryptoVice at 22828, I'll check and see.
Yeah, give it like 2 minutes and we'll pick somebody. I'll go down, sure. Right here.
So, silly question. So, CryptoVice, what does your company do exactly?
Yeah, so this is not our full-time gig. So Troy and I both own companies. CryptoVice was something that we started to kind of be the resource, right? So new people, somebody comes on and says, "How do I buy Bitcoin?" We'll explain how to do it a little bit more advanced. What is a fork, right? What's the conversation right now between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash? We're not really the Andreas Antonopoulos of the world, so we're not having those technical discussions, but we're trying to put out the news for people. And then our niche is the physical cryptocurrency, so we are trying to be the resource for physical coins. Yeah, we do own some, and then we will also, if somebody will reach out to us, say, hey, have a coin, we'll put it on the website, and we'll help broker that deal. Yep. Sure.
I wanted to have your advice on the cold storage, physical bars,
Mm-hmm.
safety-wise. Currently, there are 2 or 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say how safety it is to invest in that kind of cold storage?
So I think it's extremely secure. There might be some people that would maybe disagree with me on this, but I think it's as secure or maybe even more secure than a Trezor. It's not electronic, right? So there's no risk of it breaking or shutting down. If you were to put it in a safe, as long as you keep that private key in good condition, it should work. So I've heard some people are concerned about like EMP. This is some of the other stuff down the road. I believe that this should be completely immune to that, as there's no electronics in it. So as secure or more secure.
All right, so you haven't heard so far of any hacking or database hacking? Because I know those guys separate the private keys from the
Yes.
public. They don't even know the private key. And all
That's the hope, right? You never know for sure whether or not those guys threw out the copy of the private key, and mention that, right? So when a human being, when Mike Caldwell, that we're talking very highly of, when he created these, he had to load the Bitcoin onto that coin. So the only way that he was able to do that was to have the private key to that Bitcoin. So nothing's ever been stolen. With Casacious, there have been some other coins where there's been some counterfeiting and stuff like that, but Casacious, Lealana, it does appear as everything's on the up and up, but you got to be careful. You definitely want to protect yourself on the newer coins. Yes?
Actually, who is selling this kind of physical tokens? Which is the company, the main company that is selling right now?
Yeah, so the main one right now, I would say, is Satori, and that's open for debate. They produce a lot. They're inexpensive. Casacious doesn't produce any new coins, hasn't for many years. Lealana, I don't believe, has produced anything for a couple years. He came out with the Monero coin recently. Denarium is still producing coins. Satori, and I think that's probably about it. There's probably a few more that'll come, but most of this was something that started and then it ended. So the ones that were early on are very, very, very collectible. The newer ones are more of just the numismatic. Go ahead.
cold storage bars.
Yeah.
What are the name of the companies?
So the one that I showed you was Casacious. He has one, and then the newer one was called Kialara. Kialara, you can go on their website right now, kialara.com, and they have some that are available for sale. They're nothing more than just an artist produced it, so it's very, very nice. It looks good, that type of thing.
If you're looking for specifically cold storage, I'd recommend going on to Trezor.
Oh, of course.
Or Ledger. Those are probably the most, because really when you buy a Kilar, you're buying it for the collectible aspect of it. You're not really buying it to put cold storage on, but you can, and that's just another way to kind of disperse your
Got a
holdings.
good business idea.
It's up to you.
Company where you can print your own.
Yeah, there's a guy out here we met earlier. I believe the name of the company is Crypto Coin Guys. So they're producing the stock slips, right? Where there's a security hologram instead of on a coin, it's on a stock sheet, and it's a cold storage device just on paper. Anybody else? Guys, thank you for your attention. Really appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions, reach out to us. Thank you. Oh, and we'll do a drawing here real quick. You want to just?
Oh, yeah, stick around for a second.